Who is the shadow self? In this video today, we're going to be talking about integrating the shadow part of our identities into our true self to create one whole being. Now, this is something that I've really been diving into, doing a lot of shadow work in my own time and just really figuring myself out entirely. It's quite convenient actually. The lighting in this video is absolutely terrible, but it's quite relatable to the topic because obviously over here, I don't know if you can see my hand very well, there's like the dark side, over here is obviously the light, so it kind of works out nicely. I'll pretend that this is completely intentional. So the shadow self is the part of us that lies deep within the subconscious, and it's the part of us which not many people are aware of, and they act on these subconscious behaviours that make us do certain things without even realising it. Now, every person has to be willing to admit that there is a shadow self within them, because everyone has a darker side, whether you want to admit that or not. Nobody is absolutely perfect, and you have to be willing to be aware and acknowledge this shadow self, because if you go about your life and you're just being yourself and you're also being as good as you are, you're being good, but then you don't accept about the shadow self, like you're just go about your life like doing stuff and being good, sending out positive energy, but then just completely ignoring the shadow. That's actually quite unhealthy, and that's not the sort of thing you want to be doing, because you're suppressing these deep behaviours that have just been pushed down, and they arise in certain occasions. Now, I've done a lot of shadow work to figure out who the fuck this guy is inside me, like who is this other shadow. And obviously there's still loads of work to do, because I'm a pretty evil person, but everyone has to do this sort of stuff, like everyone has to figure out this deep part inside them. Now, there's actually a quote that I looked at when I was reading an article the other day, and it says, "The upside of your dark side, why being your whole self, not just your good self, drives success and fulfillment." Now, I thought that quote was really interesting, because it was basically saying that even though you have a dark side, you kind of have to integrate that dark side to become your whole self, instead of just using the good part of you, because that's only half, like, this side of the light. Whereas, polarity is quite a thing in this 3D reality, and the world strives on a balance. When you think of like light and dark, or good and bad, and there's opposites, polar opposites. That's how the world comes together, like two beings come together to create one, and that is polarity. That is just the way this reality works. So you have to accept your evil self, and you have to work with it. Now, catch yourself in a moment when you realise that you're doing something that could be manipulative, or you could be saying something that is, just slightly lower in vibration and acting on a certain behaviour. Be aware of it and accept that this is inside you, because when you deny this part of you, that's when it gets worse and worse. So you have to, like, I was meditating, and I think I've explained this story before, but I saw two sides of me basically, and it was the higher self, which was me, the good side over here, all the light. Then there was the darker side of me, which was like, I didn't really like this guy very much. He was just talking, and he was just a really negative person. But they both come together to work, and you have to have this polarity. But you can't let the evil side take over, and you can't let the evil side dictate your decisions in life, because that can create a negative vibration, and that vibration obviously gets sent out into the universe, thus keeping you in this negative bubble. And you have to be willing to admit that you have this side of you, and you have to just let yourself be, like, okay, let the negative thoughts flow through you. So say most people have a few narcissistic traits, and people don't want to be associated with narcissists, because it's like, oh wow, that's a psychological disorder, and that means I'm really bad. But no, that if you feel that you have something like that, accept it. Don't push it away, because when you push it away, you're not healing yourself. So there was a comment that one of my work colleagues a while ago made to me, and it was completely harmless. But she said something like, it was something like, I feel like you could be manipulated quite easily. Now this was in the past, before I realised a deeper, stronger side to myself, and at the time I was like, no, I wouldn't be manipulated, and I felt quite hurt by it, and that was because I knew that was true. I knew that yes, in the past I could have been manipulated quite easily because I didn't see the bad intentions of people and I wasn't aware of what people would be doing, and I would just be like yes, and I would just go with what's being given to me. But you have to become aware of the bad side of you. Spencer, can you just fuck off? What are you doing? So you might be asking yourself, how do I actually integrate this shadow? How do I actually become aware of the shadow? How do I actually make this shadow work with my whole self to be me? Now, you have to, first of all, be aware, become present on what is the shadow self within you. If most people are aware when they do, I don't know about most people, but talking from my own experience, I'm aware if I do something that is of a lower vibration, and most of the time, like in the past, I could have not done that, and I could have chosen to do something else or react in a different way, but at the time I was kind of acting subconsciously and I let that negativity flow through me with too much ease. But you have to be aware of the action and the behaviour in order to work with it. So let's say, for example, that if any time you're in a social environment and somebody picks on you, okay, in a jokey way, it's a social environment, you know, you're an adult, but somebody picks on you and makes you feel like the butt of the joke. Now, if you suddenly rise or boil with anger and you have like a negative reaction to their joke, and you suddenly get very defensive, that could be, again, a trauma from the past that caused you to be this way. But catch yourself in the moment of that anger, that feeling, because if you let yourself flow and you let yourself just react negatively, that is letting this negative side take over. Whereas if you become aware of it and be aware, okay, yes, I know that I do feel angry in these sort of situations. I know that when somebody picks on me in a certain way, it makes me feel angry. Be aware of the anger, be aware of how that makes you feel, and allow the feeling to be there. Like, don't just suppress it. Don't just think, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna be angry, and I'm being told not to feel negative emotions. I'm just gonna think positive and everything. No, you mustn't do that, because that's false positivity. You have to allow the feeling to be there, because this feeling is inside you and it's in your bubble, and you've got to accept it, and you've got to feel it, and you've got to nurture it, and you've got to tell this feeling to, it's okay. Talk to the feeling, like let it be there. A lot of I had a crazy meditation once when I was I was feeling something sad within me, and long story short, I found a really, really deep feeling from experience in my childhood. And when I said to the feeling, because it was like a sad puppy, it was me. It was like a thought and a feeling that had been suppressed so far down within me, and the thought just came out from my old feelings at the time of what happened, and it was like, oh, I felt this way, I didn't know what to do, I felt so scared and everything, and the feeling was like talking to me, and I was like, whoa, this is like crazy. I mean, I'm like literally just sitting here, and like this feeling from the past is like, it's like a trapped memory that has just been, I think the lighting has like changed a little bit. It's like if I move this way a little bit, it's like this feeling had just been recorded almost in the moment, and it just been thrown into my subconscious, and I was like replaying the recording back, and I was just like, holy shit, so I need to talk to this thing. And I was like, you know what, it's okay, it's alright, whatever happened in the past, that happened. You don't need to feel this anymore, because who you are now is not that past, because who you are now is who you are, and you aren't part of your past, because the past is in the past. So it's okay that this has happened, and like just talk like nurture the feeling. And it was really weird, because the moment I did that and I accepted it and I nurtured the feeling, I then felt a massive relief off my shoulders, and it's like the feeling or the memory was released from my being, and as it left, I felt it rise up, and it was like I'm free of suffering, and it left my body. And because I became aware of it from a subconscious behaviour that I was acting on, and when I was tested by the universe again to see if I had truly healed this. I don't know what the lighting is like, but I really apologise if it's terrible. Oh, this is proper awkward. Completely forgot what I was saying. Long story short, be aware of the shadow. Catch yourself in the moment, and don't neglect your evil side, because everyone has this part of them, because like I said, polarity is a thing, but don't let this negative side take over. Like, let it, be aware of its behaviours. As much as you are putting out good in the world, this negative side reflects that part of your good self, and it will act, it will keep acting, but you have to, if you want to let the positivity take over, you have to see that negative side that's reflecting, because as much as good you're putting out, that negative side is sweeping underneath the subconscious without you realising. So you've got to see that side, and you've got to like fight it away until there's just one polarity, or not even a polarity, just one frequency. Obviously, we are human, and you know we're not supposed to be just on one frequency, so we're never going to be just pure enlightenment, we're never going to be just pure happiness, because that's not how this 3D reality works. But you can do your part to make yourself better, and you can do your part to make yourself on a high vibration consistently all the time. When you do feel yourself on a high vibration, you will literally feel it in your being. Like, you will rise, you will feel it. I'm going to be doing so many videos about this because I've got a massive list of videos that I'm going to be doing. Over the Christmas, or over the past 2 months, I wasn't able to put out some videos, only because I had been going through some crazy experiences that I had figured some stuff out, and I'm going to be doing some videos to getting this stuff out to you, because I want people to experience this high life that I'm experiencing. Naturally high, all the time, positive vibes. You know, you can do this as well. I want people to experience what I'm experiencing, so that's why I'm making these videos. So on that bombshell, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found this insightful. Please put a comment in the comment section and just let me know your thoughts, or if you have any similar experiences. I'd love to know. Share, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.